Yo, what is going on, guys? It is non-reality, and in today's video I basically wanted to make a full gearing guide from season to like getting into endgame. I didn't want to do endgame because that's just a lot of stuff. Like, I'm talking like Fallen God, Libresco, all that stuff. That's like endgame, and that's like you're not gonna get there for a while, especially if you watch this video, you're gonna just forget about it by then. So I'm basically gonna go from season to 281, and that's it. And this is mainly for Succession Berserker, but if you're a Succession class that does DR damage reduction, then this will basically be the same for you. Not everyone's gonna agree with my opinions, obviously, of some of the accessories I go, but I basically go for like cheap and easy to progress, and then I'll worry about that stuff later on when I can make more silver. So like maybe going a different belt over what would be normally used for a berserker, because like the berserker belt that they recommend is good at pen level, but you don't need it at tet level, and you're just wasting, an extra 2 billion silver they could use on something else. But anyway, let's get into this. So first off, I want to make a slight clarification that my AP might be a bit higher than yours starting out. If you are a new player, that is because of journals. You will learn about journals later on, or you can look up a guide for them. But if you're not a new player and you're just getting into Zerker and you want to know the progression path, then make sure you have your AP journals filled. These are the ones that I have filled personally, because some of these, like Deeves Encyclopedia, are pretty hard to do, especially as a newer player that doesn't have a lot of silver to burn. But if you do the ones, so I basically have every AP in the Venture Log except for 2. One of them I can't do because you need way higher AP than I have, and the second one is just really time consuming and really annoying to do. You have to buy furniture and all that. It's not worth it in my opinion right away. But let's get into this. So first page is basically just the start of the season. This is what your gear is going to look like once you get your Naru gear to pen and you get that Tuvala gear. Super easy to do. You literally just get beginner stones. It's basically just a tutorial showing you how to enhance. You just click the beginner stones as much as you can on the armor. Don't worry about using memory fragments. Don't worry about repairing them, because you're going to get them to pen really fast, and then you'll exchange them for the Tuvala gear, which will look like this. I recommend getting like full Tuvala, because obviously if you're a new player, a lot of this is going to be for new players. You're not going to have like Kaposia earrings and accessories yet. So yeah, this is what you're going to look like. Moving on to the end of season, I'm basically just skipping all the middle stuff because season is super self-explanatory, and it's super easy to do everything. And if you need help on seasonal guides, I'd recommend watching something like Evil Do His Harm. He has really good videos on how to progress through the season, but if I did that, I'd have like 15 pages of how to progress through season. So this is what you're going to look like at the end of season. You're going to want to have full pen armor and full pen weapons, because you'll be able to exchange those in the next slide, which I will show you. But for now, just make sure you get your pen weapons and your pen armor, as no matter what you got to do, unless you gotta unless you just can't, then I'd recommend at least getting if you have to forget something, I'd rather it be the helmet than anything else personally. And then for weapons, since this is a Succession guide, I'd rather you forget the awakening weapon than anything else. And then when you're doing this season, you're going to end up getting a pen ring and a pen earring for free just from questing, and you'll also get a Tri Kaposia just from doing level 62, which you have to graduate. And then I recommend getting a Tuvala necklace and a Tuvala belt up to at least duo, because it's pretty easy to do and it sets you at a pretty good AP. And like I said, get pen, everything else. Now once you graduate, obviously you saw a bunch of my stuff changed. Let me quickly talk about this. So when you finish a season, you're basically going to get these stones that you can convert all of your seasonal gear into boss armor that you got to pen. This is why you want to get your gear to pen, because once you get your gear to pen, you can change it to a boss armor. So let's talk about this. So this is damage reduction armor. The only thing that isn't damage reduction is Red Nose, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But you want to get the Griffin's helmet, you want to get the Uragon shoes, the Beg's gloves, and then the Red Nose armor. The reason we go with Red Nose armor is for Caphrising, which is basically how you're going to be able to get your Fallen God later on. But it's cheaper to do Red Nose than it is to do Dimtree. If you do accidentally pick Gaius instead of Griffins, you can exchange it at Jatina, I'm pretty sure, at pen level for the different one if you have the wrong one. And then also, as you can see, I have the artifacts. This isn't something that you have to do right away, but I basically just wanted to add this in. It might even disappear later on, I don't know. I just wanted to add this in to let you know what they are and to be aware of them. So artifacts are basically a thing that they added kind of recently, where it's just extra damage boost. So I'd recommend going super cheap. You basically get the extra AP against monsters, which drop from a lot of early game spots. So you'll probably end up getting these through the season if you don't sell them. And then just put Firestones of Rage in. They're like 6 mil each, and it will give you 9 hidden AP along with the or the item effect plus 6. Then you'll get the Savage set, which will give you 9 hidden AP. And then make sure you also grab a Destruction Stone, but you probably already know that. All right, next up we're gonna go Jatina Pens. So Jatina has a quest line, which I'm not going to explain because it's very long, but like I said, any of these things that I talk about that you want clarification on, just go watch Evil Deus Army, has all the videos on it. So you're going to want to get your Pen Jatina armor, and then either your Uragons or your Begs based on the price on the market. Whichever's more expensive is the one you want to do the Jatina quest for at the time. Right now, Uragons is a little bit more expensive, like 100 mil more expensive. But yeah, I'd recommend doing these two. Some people will say to only do one. The only reason for that is because a quest just came out that gives you a free pen armor. And also, I will talk about that. I kind of forgot it actually because it just slipped my mind, but we'll talk about that. So you're going to want to get 2 pieces of Jatina pen armor because by the time you watch this video, the prices are going to go up. So it's actually more worth it to do 2. And then after that, oh yeah, also I have a pen Kaposha necklace because when you finish the season and you graduate, you get a coupon. I actually have it here as well. I'm dumb. So you get a coupon and it'll let you exchange it for 1 pen Kaposha accessory. Either go belt or necklace. I just went necklace for this because just it doesn't really matter. But yeah, necklace. I think belts are a bit cheaper. So yeah, we have that. We have the Jatina pen. Moving on. So buy the other pens. So at this point, you're going to want to farm the Begs, Gloves, and the Griffin's Helmet. Now, there is the Magnus questline that just released last month, where you do get a free pen armor. So make sure you do that questline, and then you can grab a Begs Gloves because that is the most expensive out of the 2 that you have left. Helmets are the cheapest. And I'm pretty sure to do that questline, you're going to have to do the main story. So if you did your season and you did the winter season questline, you're going to have to go back and do the original story to unlock the quest for the Magnus. But once you do all that story, you will get the free pen Begs, which is worth it. Trust me, even though it does take a little bit to do the story. And then once you're done with that, you're going to want to farm up some silver for the Griffin's Helmet. I think Griffin's Helmets are like 6 bill. They're really cheap. It shouldn't take you too long. Also, one thing I want to mention while you're grinding all this is make sure you're saving your Caphras stones. Don't do what I did and sell them early on. Make sure you just save all of your Caphras stones early game. Don't put them into your Tet gear. Just save them as long as you can. Also, as you can see, I also have the pen Kazarka, and this should not be pen. Whoop. The pen Kazarka. This is also something you're going to do Jatina questline because you can do weapons as well. So you want to do that. So next up, we're going to talk about rings and belt. So at this point, you want to go to grab 2 Tet rings. One of these Tet rings you're going to get through the Jatina guaranteed accessory, which is where you basically take a daily quest and kill mobs, and you'll get this powder to upgrade the accessory for not free, but basically free, and is also 100% guaranteed chance. So you're going to want to grab a Crescent Guardian ring. Most people will say to go earring, but I'm going to tell you why I don't want to do that later on. But yeah, grab that. So that one will be basically free. It'll be like 3 bill, 2 bill, super cheap. And then you're going to want to buy another Tet Crescent ring. The reason we don't go ruins here is because ruins are more expensive. Like I said, most of the things here are going to be cheaper overall, except until we get to the end. But yeah, at this point, you're going to want to grab the second Tet Crescent ring, and you're going to also want to grab a Tet Bassi belt. Now, if this took you a while and you're in between seasons, like if you like started this on a season, you're like halfway through, maybe you're at like getting the rest of your pen, and the new season starts, what you can do instead of getting a Tet Bassi belt, which is what I did, is you could do the new season on a new character, get another one of those exchange coupons, and buy a pen Kaposha belt instead. But yes, once you're done with that, we're going to move on to a bunch. I wanted to consolidate this just because it's a lot easier if I talk about it all at once. So this is C4 while getting Tet Blackstar and Pen Kudum. So once you get all of your pen gear, you do all that, you're going to want to start Caphrasing your gear. And that's why I told you to save the Caphras early on. you're gonna want to Caphras all your gear to C4, because C4 is the last level that it doesn't have like a huge jump in Caphras, but then once you get to C5 it costs a lot more. So get all of your gear to C4, and then with that you're gonna also want to get your pen Kudum either through the Jatina guaranteed pen if it's cheaper at the time, or buying it straight off the market. And then you're also going to want to grab yourself a Ted Blackstar and trade out your Pen Kazarka. This will basically just give you more monster AP. And you can sit on this for a while. You could do Godorai, but I'm not going to get into that. If you want to look up Godorai, you can do it yourself. I personally think Godorai is okay, but it's not great. Okay, moving on to the last one. This, as you can see, this is a huge jump, and this is why. Also, why does it say duo? This website does not work well. There we go. There we go. Now it's not as big of a jump. It's still a big jump, but so moving on to the last little bit. As you can see here, we got the distos. Now this is the controversial take. I personally think going Tet distos instead of going Narcs is better, because if you take my route of gearing, you're gonna hit 281, and 281 is a really good like soft cap point where you're gonna be able to unlock like Orc Camp and all these like really good grinding areas, and not be stuck at the same areas from like 250 to 271 that you would if you went like Narc earrings, which is what most people do go for Suckzerker. They go Narcs, but that will make it so you're stuck under 281, and then you'll have to take like the Godorai route, and you'll have to do all this jumping through hoops, and you'll end up spending like the same amount of silver in the end, but this will just be a fast track. And one thing is, Tet distos are really expensive. They're like 20 bill each, 23 bill each. So what you're doing while you're doing this is you're farming areas that give you Caphras, so you can farm like C10 for your Red Nose and C10 for your Griffins, so you can then go and get your Fallen God and your Libresca respectively. And if you do Narcs, you're going to end up, way less AP. You're not going to farm as fast. Sure, you'll have more DP overall, but at the end of the day, AP helps you grind. And if you're on Zerker, you really don't need the DP as much as you need the AP. And then that's basically all I wanted to talk about, because I don't want to get into endgame. I will make a separate video on endgame once I get there myself, so it'll be like like a month or two. I'm a bit further than this video, but I didn't want to talk about it in this video because this is going to be like new players, and I'll make another guide that's like mid to end game gear. But yeah, I hope this video helped you guys. If you have any questions, anything I left out that maybe confused you, please put it in the comments. I will be looking at the comments and will be happy to answer any question that you guys have. But yeah, that's it, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.